All right. So GTM or GTFO. So if you haven't heard this section before, it's where one of us brings something to the other person hasn't seen, and we have to say if we like it or not, basically, right? So you're going to bring me something. I have no idea what this is.
I just wanted to get your perspective. So I think now we're back to, I mean, we have been for a few years, but I feel like this year, people are like back in the swing of like, should I go to conferences or events? And where, like, is it worth my time? Especially if you can get sponsored. Some companies can't afford to sponsor everyone to go to. If you're a really small company, we're kind of one of those. Unfortunately, we can't pay for everyone to go everywhere. But what is like? Well, first of all, are big conferences worth going to anymore? Like, with so much data and AI and like YouTube, and it's like, do I need to go to that?
I might have to give me a second to think about this one. I think because I haven't been to, like, I've been around a conference. Like every year when Dreamforce is going on, we go up to the city. We don't get a ticket, but we just kind of hang out with people. We see people. We meet people. Maybe go to OpStars. But
so is that your answer, basically? You didn't think it was?
I think there's seasons. So like when I was earlier in our career, both of us. Yeah, I feel like I got a lot of value out of it. So like when you're trying to learn, you're trying to build your network, and you're on like that steep learning curve at the beginning of your career. Yeah, I think trying to go to things because you're just going to be immersed in the thing, right?
Totally.
And like I remember going to like Marketo conferences and all that.
Yeah.
Marketo Summit, and I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. And it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And I would say that's probably still true. Now, this season of our life, when we've got 2 kids, we're running this business, it is a lot harder to find the time.
Yeah.
Probably more because of the kids, right?
Yeah.
But so for anyone that is in the same season that we're in, I don't actually feel bad about, I don't get that much. I get a little bit of FOMO when I see everyone like having fun at these things, but I don't feel like I'm actually missing out much on the educational learning side of it because of everything that you said, right? You can go on LinkedIn, you can go on YouTube, you're learning a lot just kind of in your day to day. So I feel like to go to something to try and learn something at this season, I don't feel that massive of a need to like disrupt my family life and business and everything to go and do that. But I would say what I'm starting to think about is I still think there's like a different component of like networking, meeting people, kind of creating relationship side of it. That maybe that there's like a business reason to do that, but more just a personal kind of hunger for that, right? Yeah. You know, COVID hit. That's when we had our first kid, right before COVID, and it was like, okay, well then. You kind of were locked down with COVID, and then also after COVID, you kind of like still have that restriction, being able to get out as much. Now we've got kids, so I feel like for me, just personally, now both of the girls are like a little bit older. I'm starting to feel like I want to get out there more, and just and whether there's a huge like business goal tied to it or like personal kind of educational goal tied to it is actually less of important to me. It's more about something that can still be convenient. Like, I don't know if I want to fly somewhere yet and kind of go away for a few days, but it'll be like maybe go up to the city again for the day or whatever, where you can meet people, network, and kind of just like be immersed in this kind of scene or like this kind of industry that we're in, and just get maybe just like kind of that personal benefit from just being around people.
Yeah.
So GTM or GTFO, going to industry events, I would say GTM for anyone really, but I would say for my own personal experience, if you are in a season where it's really hard for you to do it, there's plenty of other things you can do to like keep on top of things.
I think also if you're in that season, replace it with doing certification, especially around like AI. In my opinion,
like this season of like where you can't get out, do certification. Yeah, I don't. What certifications are there for AI that you can think of? I mean,
well, there are certain tools now that offer university, and when I say certification, I mean like teach yourself basically how to use them.
yeah,
Immerse
okay.
yourself. Maybe run a program to like get more comfortable with prompting. Like there's like Clay boot camps now. There's like, just their university. There's Chat GPT. There's LinkedIn probably courses, Udemy, Coursera. Like maybe there's some people just maybe need the basics to feel like less intimidated. Especially if you're like a campaign like operations person who feels like too comfy in like email. Like the way that we execute campaigns is going to massively change. And I would think about like immersing myself into figuring out like, okay, well, how can campaign creation, go to market execution, outbound, because outbound is probably going to be more marketing led than
marketing
ever.
ops led.
Yeah.
Oh, well, marketing ops.
Marketing ops and marketing. Right, yeah. Before it was just like, oh, sales, go do your thing. Now it's like a huge part of your marketing mix. You can't just rely on inbound.
Particularly for companies where SDRs are part of the marketing org as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, now more than ever, we have to all be trying to kind of future-proof ourselves, our businesses, and there are multiple ways to do that. You don't have to go to things in person to do that. Maybe there's an advantage because you immerse yourself in that thing for a day is a bit more than just, watching a couple of YouTube videos over a month. But I still think there's plenty of ways that you can do it if you're just not able to get something in person.
Yeah.
And then if you can, kill a few birds with one stone, where you're like education and networking and meeting some old friends and kind of just feeling like part of this, go-to-market community and just immersing yourself in that, is you can get all of those benefits. And potentially, if you run a business and you might meet people that could turn into customers as well, then I think it's worth the trip. But again, don't feel bad if you can't do it. There's plenty of people out there with kids and lives and stuff. So
yeah,
whatever.
All right, I agree.